Randy.
My question is very similar. So would it be the main, not the emergency fire, but just the regular access to the school? Is that anticipated to be off of Nursery Street?
The access
connected
would.
through the, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. So the only access into the property, and this goes towards the Board of Adjustments for the conditional use permit for the school. However, you can see the proposed 96-foot cul-de-sac and then a larger diameter turnaround. The proposed applicant was using this as a fire turnaround for emergency vehicles, and then they also provided fire access up on the east and west side as fire lanes for access to emergency vehicles as well.
Mike, did you have a question?
Please. Yeah, so the International Fire Code only requires one point of access for emergency services. So Fire Marshal reviewed this, and this isn't really before you for the conditional use permit.
That's
it was
exactly right.
approved
What
by the Board of
what we're
Adjustment.
talking about here is just the approval of the law division. That's what we're
And the
talking about.
96-foot
That's exactly
cul-de-sac,
right.
which may, or my question centered on, is that going to limit the ability of the property to adhere to the fire codes?
That doesn't have anything to do with what we're doing
But if we put in a
tonight.
cul-de-sac, we're approving that, and that may or may not impinge future use of that property. And I think we need to consider that now as part of what we're doing.
Well, what they do with the future of the property is not what's in front of us right now. Mike, you want to go ahead and continue?
Sure, yeah. Once you get beyond 150 feet, you're required to put some type of fire truck turnaround in. And so that's why they have the 96-foot cul-de-sac, is because that's in the International Fire Code as well as our city standards. There's 2 points of access. You have access on Nursery as well as Powers. International Fire Code does not require 2 points of access for a school property. And, if they do need future access, say the school doesn't choose to locate there, you have other development that happens on there, the fire marshal would review it at the time. And usually there's some type of fire truck access and turnaround. All of our fire truck access roads have to be at least 26 feet in width. And so that's why they have this large circular drive. And then just for your information, they do have a couple gravel access roads, so you can reach 150 feet around all sides of the building. And that's really the major requirement, is just getting the hose and the fire apparatus to the site and being able to reach all the way around it and fight all sides of the fire. So, the fire marshal is happy with this. It was originally anticipated that we have some type of road extension, like Ryan mentioned, to the northeast. With this development, it shouldn't prohibit any type of other residential development, like Ms. Bennett had referred to here to the north for the extension of Southview. So,
Okay.
Your Honor, if I
Les?
may, just to clarify a little bit further, the cul-de-sac that's involved here is really not a fire department requirement. It's a public works requirement because it's a public street. So as Mike was just talking about, the original plat concept included an extension of Southview Avenue off of that T intersection up there at the top. And then it swings around kind of along the north side of the park parcel and intersects the north-south Alice right-of-way that was planned into the future. Powers was going to extend through this subject property and connect to Southview. So that was the original idea, was that there would be a through street in Powers. With the first phase of the plat, Powers Avenue was constructed to that point that you see there, where the heavy line is on the east end of Powers. So that is an open existing public street. In order to end a public street, there needs to be a public turnaround involved. So with this development proposal, the concept of the through street that would have taken Powers up to a nice T intersection goes away, and so now we have a dead-end existing street. In order to then allow that to be, we need to have a public turnaround meeting the city standards for a cul-de-sac at the end of that public street. Now, what happens beyond that on the private property as it relates to fire access and turnarounds within the site and access to the buildings and all that, that all falls within the fire department requirements as it relates to the development of the individual parcels in the future. But for this requirement, this came from Public Works as it relates to how do you terminate a public street and a public turnaround.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Walter?
Probably for less regarding the cul-de-sac.
Yes, sir.
The cul-de-sac is, it's hard to tell from the drawings, is totally on parcel 1. It doesn't impinge on any of the properties to the south.
I believe there is a little bit to the south. Yeah, this drawing's a little bit better.
Not really.
The yeah. Well,
That's what got me thinking.
Yeah, keep in mind that east-west sidewalk on the south side of Powers is roughly would be the south edge of the right-of-way. And so as you think about that cul-de-sac then dropping down a little bit on the screen, that is going to likely require some additional right-of-way there. We have the same owner at this point in all this property.
Lot 1, Block 3, which is the south lot, is owned by Thompson.
I believe that, not Thompson, by Powers, right? Powers. These are all Powers property, is my understanding. And so that would be part of the deal, that they have to work out how to obtain all that right-of-way so that can be constructed.
So, as part of tonight's proposed motion, we are to require the cul-de-sac, and then it becomes incumbent upon the Thompson
Powers,
Powers.
who currently own all of this property, is my understanding.
They own all of it, okay.
All of
I'm
this
sorry.
property.
So for them to agree to let part of Lot 1, Block 3 be used for the cul-de-sac.
Wherever that cul-de-sac needs to be,
Okay.
it can move around as long as there is one in some form.
Sorry, Garrett, trying to give you more land than you got.
Okay, well, with that, is there anybody out there that'd like to speak about this? Okay, well, we'll turn it back over to council, so.
Mr. Mayor, it seems to me that while the cul-de-sac is, something would have to be done with the proposed use, if the whole thing fell apart and it changed hands, Powers Avenue could still go through. That could still be a possibility. And so that's really irrelevant to the decision of the lot division. We can have the lot division, and then whatever happens afterwards requires that decision, but it's not relevant to whether we divide the lot or not.
Mike?
And that's why it's tied to the building permit. So if they never come and pull a building permit, then we don't get a cul-de-sac. Maybe we get another residential development that happens there, and they don't do a cul-de-sac. They end up extending
extend the
Powers through.
street.
So yeah, that's why we tied it to the issuance of a building permit for the subject property.
Your Honor, again, that's as it relates to the construction, but making it part of the condition of the property action at this point ensures that public street, if it is not extended,
Is a cul-de-sac.
becomes a cul-de-sac with the appropriate
Yep.
cul-de-sac standards met, assuming the property develops in some fashion as a single lot.
Walt,
I think that just answered my
Okay.
question I didn't ask.
It's just basically a condition on it.
It is a proper condition
Okay.
from the city's standpoint.
Other questions, huh? Art?
Well, I'd make a motion to approve the lot division request with the condition that the owner dedicate property 4 and construct a 96-foot diameter cul-de-sac to city standards at the current terminus of Powers Avenue prior to any building permits being issued upon the subject property.
Second.
Gina, was that, who said, was that you, Gina?
somebody
She got
else.
you right before Jim. Okay, we got a motion by Art and a second by Gina to approve the lot division request with the condition that the owner dedicate property 4 and construct a 96-foot diameter cul-de-sac to city standards at the current terminus of Powers Avenue prior to any building permit being issued upon the subject property. Start to roll with Brandy.
Aye.
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 All right.
Aye? Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.